Okay, so we've got the test build completed here with the Silverstone Milo Series ML03. A couple things I wanted to point out here along the back panel. For this build, we have the Seaton Infinity TV 4 card, as well as two Avermedia M780 tuner cards. As we were using a Intel Core i5 processor with integrated graphics, there was no need to install a video card. However, had we installed the video card, we could have put it in this slot, and we would have had room to use the included cutout for the VGA sub connector. So we'll go ahead and take the screws off the back panel, and we'll take a look inside the build. Once those are out, this panel slides off. One thing we did notice during the build was that this panel tended, as you can see here, to occasionally get stuck and to require some maneuvering to actually get it off. So now that's off, we can slide the panel over here to the side, and here you can see the 3.5-inch hard drive that's mounted to the base, and then here this is the slot where we have the 2.5-inch hard drive mounted. However, you can't see that because we've also used this space to store some of the cable wiring. Both of these hard drives are actually mounted on the bottom of the case. So installation was you put the hard drive in on the side and then screwed in through the base. In order to do this, what we actually had to do was have the case sit partially off the table so that we had access to the screws underneath, as well as the hard drive was sitting flat and gravity was pulling it down. To install this 3.5-inch hard drive, also we had to have the cables, both the power cable and the SATA cable, connected to the hard drive before we slid it into place, as once it was in its spot, you really couldn't access those holes. So now we're going to go ahead and flip this case up on its side so we can take a look at some of the internals here. You can see here are the 3 expansion cards we have. The reason that this Molex connector power cable is going out the back is that's actually how I power the exhaust fan in my AV cabinet, so that it only runs when the computer is actually on. You can see over here this is the other 3.5-inch hard drive slot. Installation of this was done on the hard drive caddy, which actually was able to be removed from the case and mounted on that before being placed back in the case. As you'll notice in some of the pictures, this is where the optical drive would have gone. However, in our build, because of the amount of cables that had to be routed, as well as the depth of both the power supply and the optical drive, while we were able to physically get the optical drive in the case, there wasn't enough room for the power connector and the SATA connector to have been connected with that installed. So if you plan on using an optical drive with this case, make sure to check the depth of your power supply as well as the optical drive. And I would also recommend that you have right angle, both SATA Molex power connectors as well as right angle SATA data connections to make sure that it fits in there, because this case is a very snug fit. While it can handle a lot of components, there's not a lot of room for them. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and rotate the case around so you can see over on this side where we have two 80mm fans that we've set up to blow air into the case. There was an additional spot for 2 other fans, however we didn't have those fans to run in this build. This case does not come with any fans, so you will have to get those fans extra. Also to note is that if you have all 4 fans installed or just 1 fan in this lower corner spot, it blocks the accessory tray so that a fan controller wouldn't be able to be installed. So I guess that basically sums it up. We're going to go put this case in the AV cabinet and see how well it does when we put it to the test. So, thank you very much.